Hello, welcome back to Rainy Day Projects. You might remember during my capybara needle felting video, I mentioned that I thought that needle felting was not the craft for me because it was a little bit repetitive and I thought I'd get bored. But as soon as I had finished that project, I started thinking that I wanted to make something else. So maybe it is a little more the craft for me than I thought. So I have purchased this large package of wool from a craft store in my area, and it is lightweight. It says Handmade. This is in Czech and my Czech is very poor, so I only understand a little bit. So it says merino wool. I'm not sure what česané means, maybe like brushed or something. Handmade means light, 50 grams, and I've got 12 colors in here, and I have had the ambitious idea that I will make 12 little miniature animals with these 12 colors of pastel wool. I have also, excuse me, my cat's getting on the table again. I have also got some lightweight black merino wool that I'm going to use for little accents to these miniatures, and hopefully I'll have enough to make a final project with this at the end. Now, I have added the tagline to our channel. Hi, cat. I've added the tagline to our channel, "We don't know what we're doing." This is a channel where we don't know what we're doing. We pick things that seem like they might be fun and we try them out and we show you guys what we're trying. So this may or may not work out. It may or may not be attractive. It may or may not have cat hair on it. So please bear with me while I try. And let's get started on the first project. So I kind of made a list of things that I want to do just as the idea struck me. And the first color that caught my eye was this nice mint green here, which inconveniently is way down deep in the pile. So let me take the other ones out. My cat is still on the table. He thinks this is really exciting. And the dog also thinks this is super exciting, so you'll probably hear him running around and playing with his squeaky toys a little bit. And now, there they go. Okay. So I've got my mint colored wool, and the animal idea that popped into my head for this was a baby harp seal. And yes, there is white wool in the package, and yes, baby harp seals are white, but I want to do a green one, so that's what I'm doing. So I've been putting this off a little bit, gathering supplies. I've got two kinds of beads for the eyes because I'm not sure which size is going to be better. These are wooden ones and these ones are glass. Again, I live in the Czech Republic or Czechia, and there are lots of really good glass beads here, so I'm hoping to do some bead jewelry a little bit later. Two kinds of beads. I have, since my last video, acquired this multi-pronged needle felting tool, which supposedly makes the process more efficient, although I did experiment with it a little bit, and I think it kind of has a rougher touch and maybe makes for a slightly less smooth final product. I'm not really sure. I need to play with it a little more. I have got my cheapy styrofoam wool felting cushion with my original 3 needles that I've got for my backup. I also purchased this brush mat. This is supposed to work as a needle felting mat, but again, I experimented with this a little bit and I'm not super fond of the way that it pushes the wool down into the brush. So I might switch back and forth between these depending on how it goes. And if I keep doing this, I'm thinking of making myself a little stuffed pillow to use as a mat because I've seen some people do that. Still have not bought any finger covers, so expect a little bit of blood probably. And I have got embroidery floss in case I want to embroider some details. Maybe the nose will be embroidered. I have got beading needles and needle threaders for these beads. Hopefully that will work out. And I've got some heavy duty upholstery thread that I've had rolling around in my sewing box since I accidentally bought it years ago. The reason I have this is because it's a little bit stiff, so I think it might work well for the seal's whiskers. So we're gonna see how this works out, and I'm just gonna get started. So I yesterday tried to draw a baby harp seal. You can see I had a lot of trouble. I am not an artist. Basically, it seems to be shaped sort of like a lump of mashed potatoes. This is the shape of an adult harp seal. We've got this graceful body and a kind of dog-like head and the two flippers that are the equivalent of feet, so they don't have a tail like a fish or a whale or anything. So I had a really hard time drawing the head, but it seems they've got kind of a round head, a little bit like a chihuahua or a small dog. And then the nose is almost like an upside down heart shape, but they've got black coloring around the nose, so you can't see the details super well. And they have these cute little dots above their eyes that are like angry eyebrows. So those are some of the details I want to put in. The flippers are modified feet, so they've got kind of a finger look to them. I didn't actually count how many little fingers they have. I'm gonna assume they have 5 because that's how most mammals are shaped. And we're just gonna get started. So I'm going to start by making this sort of lump shape. I guess I'm gonna, maybe I can take some off for the head. I think the head can be, we want it to be cute because it's a baby animal, so maybe a slightly bigger head than it would have in real life, but we don't want it to have a big giant head. And we also want some extra yarn for the we also want some extra wool for the flippers. So we're gonna start with a sort of potato shaped body. Okay, head, flipper, back flippers. And we're going to experiment with this multi-needle tool, but I don't think I want to use this brush. I think I'm going to use this foam mat here. So just to start out giving it its basic shape, we're going to use this to kind of push it into place. And when I was playing with the wool before, I found that this did sort of work up much more quickly, but it gave it a much rougher texture. So I don't want to use this the whole time. I want to just use it enough to sort of get the shape to cling together. And then I want to use my smaller needles to kind of give it a better texture. Again, I don't know what I'm doing, and I specifically have not gone out of my way to learn what I'm doing. I am not an expert in any of this stuff. see how far we can get done on this. I have made some mistakes in constructing this because the body is far smaller than I wanted it to be, and these back flippers are still quite big. I'm trying to get the size down. It's a little difficult to get the needles in without poking myself. The head's still a little bit soft, so I think the size on that's going to come down a little bit, but we're just going to keep working and see how it turns out. shape that I want. So we're going to pop a little bit of black wool on the nose, I think. I don't know, because it was supposed to be a baby seal that has the black nose, but I'm not sure that's the right coloring for an adult. So maybe I'll just do the nose. Okay. So one thing I wanted to try, of course, the first thing he needs is these little eyes, and I think definitely this is the right size for those. Ooh. Okay, so I got my little knot here. So there we go. So we got our first bead here. Oh, that's not so difficult, is it? Okay. Okay. That is kind of cute, isn't he? See, now I've got this little knot out here and I don't want that, but I wonder if I can tuck that in there with a needle. hopefully this can just be a relatively thin and flexible juvenile seal. Anyway, I think he's kind of cute. So there is my rainy day project for this video. And when my fingers recover from all these stab wounds, then I will continue with the next project on the list.